It's man like that. Come on. Welcome to Melanated Proud. But this channel is all about inspiring, showcasing, empowering the black community. Today, come on, we got 3 people. My first group conversation in a long time, innit? So let's big up the teacher's surgery. Coming all the way from East London. These are made it now, innit? Like, you lot getting on the radio as well, innit? So, like, obviously, you don't usually see teachers, like, being open as well. They've got a lovely brand, like, on YouTube as well, Spotify. And they're really trying to have a lot of outreach work in the community. And so there's a lot of things I want to speak to them about. We've got a short period of time. But before we begin, let's go one by one, introduce yourself. So let's start off with the founder.
Oh, okay. Yes. Hi, I'm Nyasha.
Oh, there.
Just like that, yeah.
Wow. Okay. If that's it. Hi, I'm Hakeem.
Hi, I'm Amber.
Come on. If you guys remember, like, I think my fourth episode you came on?
Yeah, I think
was it
so.
early?
Yeah, early.
Probably like, yeah.
And that was before it had even begun. It was just like a little dream. And I was telling you about this dream that, and then, hello, we're here today.
Yeah. Because you know what? A lot of people dream, but not many people actually act on that dream, innit? And so one thing I want you to do, I know it was like a emotional beginning to actually like start the journey, but can you just remind people, just in case they didn't know, like how you came about the idea?
Yeah, just briefly, I had an idea about setting up a sort of a consultancy, something that would help parents bridge the gap between teachers and parents. I decided to do it with a friend of mine who I'd known for many years. She was a head teacher, a deputy head. And unfortunately, for reasons that we just don't know, she ended up committing suicide, and that kind of took a real big toll on obviously us and the venture that I had sort of put together. From there, I decided that I didn't want to do it anymore because I was just in that time of grieving, and then as I explained it, think about 2 years, because that was 2017. So then I think I left it until 2021. Spoke to a teacher, Rima, who's part of the teacher's surgery, and she just encouraged me. I told her the vision, and she said, "Yeah, let's do this. Why don't we think of doing a podcast?" Because at that time, podcasts were just beginning to start. Let's do a podcast. I know, why can't we set this whole consultancy thing together? Rima contacted Amber, and then the 3 of us went back and forth talking about it. And then from there, we just put the team together, and I started to look at teachers I'd worked with before and I'd had excellent relationships with, or learning mentors I'd worked before. And I thought, right, these are the people. And along the way, we had the very beginning, we had different people at the beginning, but then they just ended up maybe not turning up on that particular day and not wanting to then be seen on screen maybe. And then from there, I just ended up having the core people, and from there it just
no, it's amazing, man. Like something like that came a long time ago, that idea, and it could have like literally stopped. And I really respect your persistence to continue, because like I'm sure even thinking about the concept, sometimes you might think about your friend, but maybe use that as motivation to like establish something that she would be proud of as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So even for you guys, like one thing I want to know is like what made you guys join the teacher surgery as well, and also briefly, what made you become a teacher?
So do you want to start? I love you for that. Go on.
Well, Nasha reached out to me, told me about the venture. I was intrigued. I have always thought about doing something like that, but I don't have to get up and go. That's the drive and the vision. And so when she said, "Would you like to be involved?" I said, any way that you'd like me to participate, I'm more than happy to. And thankfully, she's been quite inclusive and let me pontificate on a variety of subjects, which is good for me. In terms of how I got into education, my story is long.
I want to say how. I want to get to you after.
Okay,
in terms of, we can go deeper at that level, but right now, just very brief. Like,
he's just been on the radio this morning, so you know he's live.
He's ready.
He's
Ready.
to warm. Yeah, he's got his whole story.
Okay, maybe we'll come back to that then.
I love that.
But what I want to know as well is like, let's say for example, Amber, I want to know what you do actually, because yes, it's a teacher surgery, like, but what's everyone's roles as well? Because no one's mentioned that yet. So,
I think to be fair, everyone has their specific roles, and for
Yeah.
me, mine is liaising with Nasha.
Yeah,
on,
she's second. Her and
Oh,
Rima.
sorry,
Her and Rima are
Oh,
second
okay.
in,
No, no,
like
you know what it is?
second in
Oh,
charge.
I didn't
Apologies.
actually mean it with teacher surgery. I meant in terms of professionally.
Professionally, okay.
Are you
Sorry.
all teachers?
Yeah, so
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
so I'm actually a teacher.
Yeah.
In mainstream and secondary school.
Okay.
And I also tutor privately as well. So I
Come on,
teach
come on.
English and media studies, and I'm also head of media studies at my school as well.
Mm.
And I'm a member of the leadership team in a
Okay.
SMH school and looking after pastoral development.
And I tutor students from home. So I'm a home tutor employed by different boroughs.
Mm. So what made you guys even become teachers in the first place? Like, just very briefly, just give me one word. If there was a one word you could say that made you
To change lives.
change lives, okay,
To make a difference.
make a difference, okay,
Yeah, the same. Both, really. Both
Yeah.
of those answers, yeah.
okay.
To inspire, to motivate, to encourage, to open doors.
Yeah.
And selfishly, to make myself feel good. It's a very
Yeah.
I like
altruistic,
that.
No, I get it. though.
I
Let's be
like
honest,
that.
very
yeah.
altruistic thing you do, and it makes me feel good about myself. I feel like I'm affecting change. I think that's important.
Can I interject on what
Yeah,
you just said? Because I feel like when you just said that, it's funny how when we go to a lot of our CPT sessions, it's all about what do we have to offer for the children, what do we need to do, and we rarely get an opportunity to just express ourselves. And say, actually, for me, so when you said that, I automatically went to the students and I didn't take a moment to think, actually, what am I gaining from this as well? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because with teachers, they're so focused on other people, and I genuinely don't believe you lot have actually taken enough time to deep why you chose it in the first place, why you're still there, what you get out of it as well. And I think it's important because you guys are important people. And even when you was growing up, would you say there was much representation in your classrooms?
No,
No? Okay.
it was really bad, to be fair.
Yeah, I concur. I remember primary school. I had one black teacher, and I remember her vividly. And
Because she was just one, right?
yeah,
So many.
yeah, and she was strict. I ain't gonna hail her out. But she was strict. And also in secondary school, I believe I'm looking back, one.
And that's why I said we just had one.
But I'm old.
For me, I had none in primary, none. I mean, even in terms of kids in school, there was 3 of us in primary, 3 black kids in primary. Then it got to secondary, and there was, I think, 5 black kids in secondary. But then I went to Africa, and then that was different. So now the representation. But the boarding school that I went to in Africa actually had a mixture of white teachers and black teachers. Yeah.
So do you think it's important to have like black teachers or black people representative in those sort of education systems, and if so, why?
I think so. I think it's very important because children are always looking for a mentor, always looking to someone, who they feel that they can.
A role model.
Yeah, role model. And so I think it's very important for kids to see that. And, like, for example, if I think about Hakeem and his role, a lot of children in England are growing up without a father. They're growing up without male figures, and the only male figures they know, unfortunately, are involved in certain things. And so somebody seeing Hakeem, they might start to think, actually, maybe my life could be different. Maybe I could go down the same path as him. So I think it is very important. Yeah.
No, it's true, because even when I think about when I was in school, the only times you saw maybe more black teachers, let's say if they were even of African descent, they might have been supply teachers.
I knew you was going
And
to say
they
that.
would be getting mocked.
Yeah.
People doing
Yeah.
accents, all that type of laugh.
Preconceived, that whole.
Yeah. And some are from their own.
Yeah.
Their own race. And it's
Very
like,
black.
why is that? Is it like a defense thing? Is it weird? Like, what do you think?
I would say to you, I'm a little bit older than everybody, but I would say to you now, working in the current climate, unfortunately, that is the norm to attack whatever is different, whatever it may be. And sometimes it's not even out of malice. Most of the time, it's a defense mechanism. I'll do it to you before someone does it to me. And a supply teacher's an easy target. There's no emotional connection there. It's someone that's very transitory, and it's the other, obviously, especially if the accent is strong. what I would say though is that the onus then becomes on the teachers of Africanism in the school to lock that off. That couldn't happen around me. That couldn't happen around me. And my pupils know that they couldn't. They know that I would find that offensive and that I would challenge them. So again, that's about setting the culture in your school and letting them know that, okay, that's different. I can accept one because you're a teenager and your impulse control is low, but continual and repeated attacks on someone's personality or something about them will not be accepted.
But can I just interject there? I just wanted to say that also, I mean, we're talking about students, but this also happens with teachers. I mean, teachers can, unfortunately, I've been in schools where teachers are really horrible to teachers who have an accent. They talk as bad. They will disrespect them in front of the students deliberately. And then the students will also then disrespect them.
Wait, are you saying people outside of the race?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Sometimes when it comes to supply, we call agency staff might come in, and he may be of an African, and he may have an accent from wherever he's from, and the teachers are talking down to that person as if the person doesn't understand,
or as if they're not educated,
or they're not educated, or that their qualifications somehow aren't really, valid. And you have to also look at why are a lot of people with, African or Australian or, why are all these, why are a lot of them actually supply teachers? Why is it that some of them can't get a job? Maybe it's because of discrimination as well.
We're going to come to that topic very soon.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Let's get forward, you know what I mean?
100%.
Baby steps. Go on, Amber.
No, I was going to, I agree with what Nasha was saying and Hakeem. And I think that it just shows a lot about the respect that they don't value and respect individuals. And I feel like when young people see teachers doing that, they almost open a door to say that this is acceptable. So it's like we're not really challenging. I do like that this generation now, we've got a segment of people voice. They're more open to express themselves.
Yeah.
And anytime a child comes to me and says to me, "Oh, did you know?" I'll say, "Oh my gosh, what are we going to do about it?
Yeah.
Let's go and tell." Because you have a say in your education.
Can I say on that, just about that people voice thing, you're right, because I don't want to make it like you can't communicate with us and suppliers. So for example, we get a lot of uncle. Yeah, sir, this the uncle. Sir, man, the uncle's
Auntie.
come to teach us today. And that I can live with, because that, that's nice, that's banter, that's affectionate.
It's culture, kind of.
As well. It's respect as well.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So I don't want it to be like, oh, you can't talk about the other at all. But it's about that respect, isn't it? It's how you frame it.
Yeah.
But, okay, you've mentioned about what you think would be like a positive thing about having more representation, such as like having them seen as mentors, etc. But like, can you give me an example of like times where you've seen it have a positive impact on, let's say, the black students in your schools?
I can, for example, I think, to be honest, and I think I've said this somewhere before, being a black teacher or even a black learning support or any kind of a black person in education, we kind of have a lot of favour in a sense with the children. I think a lot of the kids respect, unless, I'm not sure about if you teach outside of London and, we're talking of those places where it may be far and there's not much representation, but generally speaking, if you walk into a school as a black person, as a black teacher, I think that kids, they kind of respect you. They like you. They might want to test you out, see how black you are in that context. But I think that you can form, there is a way, especially with inner London schools, I think. I don't know if I'm wrong.
No, go on.
Because as soon, for me, my journey in teaching, because I was black, the kids liked me. And I believe that it was because that was one of the factors. So the kids would generally, all the black kids, miss, she can relate to us. And then all the white kids, they would just like you, and the Asian kids.
Why do you think that factor was relevant, like you being black? Why do you think
I think that because also I sounded like them in a sense. I don't speak like how they speak, like street speaking, but I sounded like them as in they thought, oh, she's English, she's born here like us. So they feel a bit connected, that she's a bit more like us. That's how I felt.
what
I
do you
don't
guys
know.
think?
Maybe I'm wrong in that. I don't know.
I wanted to say personally, growing up up north, so
Whereabouts up north?
Liverpool.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'm a
Little
Scouse.
Scouse, son.
Yeah.
I'm a Liverpool fan, innit? So, come on.
Are you okay?
You top of the league.
Correct yourself. Correct.
You top of the league.
For
Calm
now,
down.
it's
calm
never.
down.
It's never.
As you was, Amber.
Thank you. Thank you.
Makes sense.
Thank you. Yeah, so going to a school up north, I remember there was one black male teacher, but there wasn't really many. There wasn't any other teachers that were black that I can remember, and I didn't have any aspirations at secondary school.
But did they like that teacher?
Oh no, he used to shout in your face and he used to
Oh,
spit
okay,
when he
all
was
right.
talking
Oh,
as
well,
well.
then-
It was
all
really
right, then-
horrible.
then
It was
what I
the end.
said is-
And he's
No.
he's been arrested as well. That's long.
Let her land.
story,
Let her
so
land. Let her land. Let her
like,
land.
it's bad. So yeah, and I never really took my education seriously during secondary school period, and I felt like because the teachers didn't really connect with me, and I didn't identify with them through personal identity. There was just no, there was no drive. And then I went to college in London, and I met my first black teacher, and I was just like, oh my gosh, you're amazing. There's black teachers like this. I never knew. I was so shocked. And I just felt like, oh my gosh, I can do this. I can actually, and you know what's weird?
What's the difference between having a black teacher? Like, what is it that you like?
I felt like there was hope for
Hope,
me.
okay.
When I see a black teacher, I feel like, oh, that this is something that we can do. This is something we can be a part of because I'm seeing somebody who looks like me at the table, And I just feel like she made it seem as though, you can do this. Like she really gave me hope, motivationally, the way she spoke to me. The way she encouraged me, and she did talk about her personal experiences, and I felt like, wow, you're real. You're real. You didn't come here to tell me, that you have your own house and da-da-da. She told me, I live at home with my mum. I'm here to teach, and I'm going to help you succeed in this part of your journey. And it just felt authentic. Like I can do this.
I think that's what you guys are saying in a nutshell. It's like the perks is that they're real.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not saying everyone, but I'm saying when it has gone right,
Yeah.
it's because they've been real. It's because you could feel like you can connect. It's because they encourage you. It also makes you feel like it's possible to achieve the same sort of aspirations.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Sorry. I agree with everything you said, and I just want to come at it from a different angle.
Yeah, come on.
And the angle I'm coming from is personal, because I came into it as the black man, and I felt and I feel that it's initially, at least, they're seeing themselves. What they're seeing is man them, because they're seeing a big black man who talks like them, who's got a screw face, and he looks like the olders. That was the impression I got when I first came. Cool. And that is my background, so I can identify. Okay. Then the educator in me has got to then show them the holistic picture. And it's about what you said about being authentic and telling the story. So you relay that single parent family, you relay council estate, you relay stories that are familiar to them, but they're seeing you in your present. So then that gives them a timeline. And then the onus then is on me to fill in the gaps for them. You explain to them that who you are now is not who you're going to be. And
This is a chapter in your life right now.
The analogy I always use to them, especially boys, is listen to me. You're 14 and you're 15, you feel like you're the strongest you're ever going to be. When you meet your 28-year-old self, who's going to win that fight? And you start just asking them to think about things, because unfortunately, our society, everything is now, it's immediate. So I agree with you. I do think it's really important to see yourself, and I do think they see something in that black man that immediately gives me power. You're right.
I think you just hit on the nail, because I feel like when they see you, they know for you to get to where you are, you've definitely pushed through some barriers. There's definitely been some challenges. And so even during the school period from year 7 to 11, or if you go 6 or whatever, it's a challenging period of time. So seeing you, it's like, okay, cool. You are even just a bit of a motivation just by seeing you. And now I want to take a backseat off the students and now onto you. But
Can I say one more thing?
Go on.
Only because it resonates with what you're saying.
Okay, cool.
I remember going to Liverpool, and I think I've shared this on our episodes before, and it was about 3 years ago, and I was having a meeting with some teachers from a school regarding my younger brother who wasn't like going to lessons, wasn't really focusing. And it was a white male teacher, and he said to me, after speaking with him about my brother, he said, "Can we offer you a job?" And I was just like, I have a job and I really like the pay, so I'm okay, you know. No offense. Yeah. And then he was like, it's just that, you know, the way you speak, the way just your aura about you just seemed very serious. And he said, "Look out there." And I looked out from like the window into the sixth form common room. And he said, "Can you see all those children?" And there was literally about 5, 6 young black males, Caribbean, African, just a mixture of them, all of them sitting around. And you got computers on the edges of the room, and you can see who's using them, and it's not them. And then he's saying, "They have no representation." And I was shocked because I thought, you're actually being real right now, and we're not the same color, so you don't have to say this. But he was being authentic. And he said, and I've noticed that the kids respect him for him being like that. And he said, what's sad about schools still in Liverpool is that too many students, too many of the teachers that are of black descendants are only TAs. They're only behavior support. Apart from that, they don't have no teachers that are black. And he said, and this is the problem that we're having, because they're just not valuing education, because they think that they don't need the qualifications to do anything, because when they see what the people of their color are doing, it's nothing beyond you know what I mean? There's nothing beyond what they would you would require in terms of qualifications.
Even though, I mean, just mention that, even though, like, of course, teaching assistant mentors, we need them in schools. So
yes,
it's
of course,
it's
so important.
There's a place for everything.
But it is, and that's one of the things as well. Is like what she said.
No, I've seen it as well, because like I've worked as a TA before. Right at the moment, I'm a trainee clinical psychologist, but I've also been
Hey, I'm proud.
Thank you. But,
I've seen your journey.
Literally starts September, innit? But prior to that, my most recent job was as a school mental health practitioner. So I was actually in different schools, and I've seen different staff members struggling to get different opportunities. Obviously, whilst you're there, you make rapport with different staff members. So I was in like 4 schools, like each academic year. And yeah, man, I could just see there seem to be restrictions as to like how far they can go.
The teachers,
and
right?
or like all certain lanes are only available for certain people, and like literally what you're saying, how like maybe if it's to be the behavior specialist, if it's to be SEN, but to be maybe a head teacher, assistant head, all those type of stuff.
Because you know what, I was even about to say, you know what, I feel like we have this in every sector. You know, at the NHS, when I was giving birth, and they needed to get the
What are you saying? Do you want to include this or not?
No, you can if you want. I don't really care. Look, it's not major, but like when I was in the NHS, I was saying that I feel like this happens in every sector there is out there that's professional. And when I was giving birth, they had to call somebody to come and help me, get rid of the placenta. And I remember they're like, call Tosin. Yeah. All of them, I was like, what has Tosin got that you lot can't do?
Well, that's true, but I'm going to say though, I mean, just in my own circle, I know 2 black head teachers and 3 other SLT members that are also black males. You know what I mean? So whilst you're right, there is restrictions and things that will prevent you, doesn't mean it's impossible.
Yeah.
Yes. And also, but then I would say to you, are they heads in SEMH schools?
One mainstream and one to actually both mainstream, primary and secondary.
Okay, so primary, but there's one in secondary, isn't there? Yeah, because what I would have said is that still it's not as difficult for a black person to be a head in an SEMH school or a pupil referral unit, because the majority of teachers in there are black anyway.
It's the sector.
But it's you know, it's the mainstream. And then again, we've got to look at what mainstream. You know, you've got to look at, you know, is the mainstream in an area that's predominantly black? Okay, so the headmaster's black. What about in a predominantly white area? Is there a black headmaster there or a black
Would it be the
headmistress there?
same? Yeah.
You know, so you have to look at that. And one quick thing that I just wanted to say as well is that going back to the thing about mentoring, and because I was having this conversation this morning with someone, a lot of the black people they usually are doing such an amount of work. They're not recognized, these learning supports and mentors in the classroom. Someone else comes along who happens to be the daughter of the admin in the office
Yeah.
of
that's
another
common.
race,
It's common.
and suddenly she's been offered oh, we will pay for you to do a degree so that you can become a teacher. But hold on, you've got 6 people who've been working here for maybe 10, 15 years.
Valued teachers
Who
as well.
every child
Yes.
loves, and every child just wants to,
Respects.
but they have not been given that opportunity. And that goes on in schools. Even
it
I've been
does,
in
yeah.
a school where I went in and I was going to do an agency for the day, and the woman thought I was a learning support. She didn't even ask. And then,
Yep.
then when I said no, when she looked at my DBS, because she went to go and photocopy it, oh, are you here to teach? I said, yes. You know, the assumption.
Unconscious
Yeah,
bias.
no,
And
it's
it's,
true.
you know,
Well, like
and
Amber
it's-
said, I think it's across other settings as well. It's not just education systems.
we're still seen as the help.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You said it.
Yeah.
The help.
Okay, now, so I'm gonna go into story time now. 'Cause
Story,
you need to hear, innit?
story.
Because you know me, I'm motivated by hearing people's like journeys, innit? And I don't know, I feel like I get to know you more based on like where you come from as well. So since Hakeem was about to speak, why don't you start with you, innit? Like, just briefly tell us like your journey to where you are now. Like, was it
Interesting.
straightforward?
And when I first got into the game, it was as Mandem. I didn't think education wasn't on my radar. And I came in as a TA, and I realised, well, I really enjoy this inner pupil referral unit. And all through my career, that's all 20 odd years ago, yeah, all through my career, I've been told, oh, Kim, you need to teach. Kim, you need to teach, and it's not fair. Then they're missing out on you. Then you need to teach. And I seriously considered on a number of occasions, but it's not my bag. It's not my bag. And when I say it's not my bag, I say it's because what I do is, and I think we mentioned it earlier, is I'm trying to make a difference in this kid's life. And whilst education's a boon as it does, there's kids that leave with no GCSEs and go on to make a difference. I'm trying to build young human beings here, yeah? Some powerful black men and women that are going to go out and affect the world because they are confident in who they are, and they're not going to be beaten down by the invisible barriers that are there. So that's me. That's what I do. And so I really enjoy that. I've now ascended to a position as an assistant head teacher.
Power.
And it's because they recognise, and I have to give respect to my colleagues, because they recognise the benefits I bring to our young people. And it's about, as we spoke earlier, modelling, about being authentic, but also about challenging. Challenging and pushing them and telling them that I want that best version of you, and to do that, I've got to hold you to account. Doesn't mean I don't like you, because I'm not here to be a friend, but it does mean I respect you, because I want the best for you. And those are the conversations I have with my boys, especially because, you know, they as Nasha mentioned, I'm a father figure, and I own it, and I accept it, and I talk to the parents about that. I say, listen, I'm not your mum, I'm not your dad, but I'm another adult that's going to show you love, care, respect, and I'm going to ask for you to give that back to me. And we're going to have bumps in the road, but I'm going to challenge you and push you. And again, where I am now, as you said, it's a kind of thing where I feel so good about myself every day, King.
No, respect. You've
and
come far. Like, you're assistant head, man. But come on,
That's
but not
amazing.
like,
I know not like that, but sometimes you gotta hear the title, innit? Like, not many people have the title. You gotta hear it, man.
I love you for
Listen,
that.
you don't call yourself
I
that.
love
Let
you
us
for
call
that.
you
I love you
assistant
for that.
head.
I love
You know what I
And
mean?
we're waiting for him to be the head.
Let's go to Amber. Let's go to Amber.
Good, thank you.
So my journey, in a nutshell, I didn't see representation when I was at secondary school. And I wasn't really serious about my education. And I think it's because of maybe my lifestyle growing up with parents, and I didn't really have my dad in my life. So I was with my mum most of the time. And she was somebody who was really British. She's mixed, half white, half black. And for her, she didn't have somebody that told her that education was important. So she didn't really instill that in me. As long as I went to school and did what I was supposed to do, she was fine with that. But getting top grades and, you know, succeeding or exceeding your grades, that wasn't a big deal for her. So I think that's why I wasn't really too focused about it all. And then I moved to London to be back with my dad. And I remember before I was picking my subject that I wanted to do for college, and my grandma is very vocal in my life. She asked me, like, what do you want to be when you're older? And I said, I want to be a singer. And she was like, singer? We don't do singing in this house. The only singing you do is church. She's Nigerian. Okay. So I was like, okay, I don't know what I want to do then. So then they were asking, like, what are you good at? And then I don't know. And then my dad spoke about like media studies and then English. And then I thought, okay, maybe I could do that. And then that's where I met Cheryl, who was the teacher that inspired me. And then I just realized, oh my gosh, like, first of all, I can do this because I see her doing it. But then I thought, I really want to be a teacher. I really want to go and help all those students who laying their head on their table or skipping lessons. And you know what I mean? Like those students, because I was that child, I'd go to class and I would be sleeping in English. And the teacher would be like, Amber, get out, stand outside. And I'd be out there the whole lesson. And not once did they think to say to me, what is going on? Are you okay? To be fair, I wouldn't probably say anything because I'd be thinking social services. I don't need you up in my house. And my mum will lick me down for that. But after, so experiencing that as a person individually, I just felt like, you know what, I can actually do this and help those people that are were like who I was in the past, and just inspire them. And then I didn't take no gaps. So I went straight to university. 21, I was straight into school and working from there. And I've been ahead of you. I've been ahead of you, not an assistant. But I feel like...
No, don't you dare minimize. Don't you dare minimize your roles. Like, listen, that's an achievement.
Thank you.
Like,
thank you.
Everyone should always compare their own journey. Like, we're in a generation where people want to look at each other. I'm not saying that's what you're doing, but I'm saying other people might be doing that. Oh, I want that. Why can't it be me? But you still progress from where you was before.
It's true.
That's still a role that not many people have had.
Yeah. To be fair, I'm full-time dedicated mum as well.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's one of those ones like
everyone has
they
their own
need
journey,
me.
their own
I can't just
Yeah. What about you, Nasha?
I think just having had two different lifestyles, I come from my family are very highly educated. I mean, my sister went to Yale University, you know, like all my brothers, there isn't one. In fact, if I think about my uncles, my aunties, everyone has a degree and like they're using it. They are really intelligent. So when you're having family conversations, it's not low level. So I think my grandmother as well was an inspiration. My father was an amazing man. So those kind of things put me in the forefront of, you know what, Nash, I think you can do something to change people's lives. I had a bit of a rough upbringing with my mum. And I realize now, like my mother, God rest her soul, she died in 2021. But my mother, when I think about my childhood, I think my mum had mental health. So I was raised with someone, but not knowing that my mother had mental health. So there was a lot of abuse and a lot of things that I went through. And then I went to live with my dad, where my dad was this man full of love and full of, so I and thank God, because that was the healing that I got. So I realized that a lot of children as well, they don't talk about the abuse that they experience in school, like from their parents, whether it be their mother or their father. And that kind of made me start to be very, very interested in those kids who had experienced such or had been raised with somebody who had mental health. And so that was it for me. I just said I want to make an impact on those children's lives. Yeah.
So did you guys even know this about each other? Did you know this already, or
I didn't?
I knew a little bit about it, but the way she's gone in, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
But one thing I want you guys to do is yes, we've spoken about challenges. Everyone's journey is different, but there's a lot of young people watching you as well. Young people are not used to seeing teachers open up. So even you just sharing, which is good. I want you to say like some sort of advice or words of encouragement about how they can overcome challenges that they've been through. Maybe you want to use your own life as an example. Like maybe you look at your journey and there's one thing that stood out to you about your life that you want to give as life advice, or there's something that you want to just give that's on your heart anyways. So what would you say?
Can I tell a story about this in
Yeah.
in
If you can
connection
do
to
it
what
in the
you're
next
saying?
30 seconds a
Yeah?
minute. Yeah.
Okay, real quick. So last year I was on maternity, and I had a friend, not a friend, but I had a student that I once taught, tap me on the shoulder and said, "Miss, how are you?" And I looked so rough. I looked raggedy, because you know what maternity does to you. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, how are you?" And she was like, "Miss, I just want to say thank you so much." And I was like, "What happened?" She was like, "I never forget that time when you told me that nobody cares about my life." And I was like, "Huh?" And I was a bit embarrassed when she said that. And she was like, "No, you actually helped me. I didn't realize it then. And I was really upset that you said that. But now I'm like, actually, everyone's going through it. And you were real. You were honest. You said, you know," and I remember the day because she had issues, and then she was always coming to school late, and then she wouldn't come to my room at lunchtime to do some work. And it was sad because I wanted to help her. I had put out the time to help her, but she was never available. And I just remember one time just going off on all the kids and saying, like, everybody's holding their head above water. You're not the only one. Don't think as adults that you're just going to get it easy. It's going to all go away. It carries on. And I think the young people respected that. And they just thought, wow, like, I'm glad that she said that to me, because I thought that I was the only one kind of thing. Yeah.
I got 3 bits of advice.
Yeah. Let's go.
Short and sweet. First
Look at
and
the camera.
foremost,
Look at the camera.
First and foremost, the behaviors you practice are what you become good at. It's like anything in life. If you practice negativity, you will become an expert at that, just like everything else. Secondly, life is hard. We go by putting one foot in front of the other. Don't worry about way. Just worry about that next step. Once you've made that, put that foot up and take the next step. Before you know it, you'll be at your journey's end. Last but by no means least, love others as you want to love yourself. Yes. This world will tell you that it's okay to be facetious or selfish or greedy. But I'm telling you now, love is the most powerful thing out there. Show that to your friend, your family, and it'll be reciprocated. God bless you. I hope you do well in your life.
How?
Oh, wow. How do I come from that? Okay.
just
Well, I'm going to
just give
quickly
one, just for
say,
time.
yeah,
One.
the most important thing is, for me, I would say, is to love God. Put God in everything. Once you have a love for God, then I believe that you will love other people, you will love your life, you will look at your life differently. And love yourself. Just know that you are someone special. Know that you were created with a gift. You were created with a vision. You're created with a goal. So don't allow negative things, to stop you from pursuing your goal and your God-given vision. That's what I would say.
If you could do 30 seconds.
Mine is, it shall come to pass. So in your misery, in your sadness, in your dark days, in the times when you're thinking that you can't conquer your fears or you're just demotivated, just know that this is a season and it will pass. And you've been able to get through many other things. And just like that, you will succeed and strive and hopefully get through it.
For me, thank you for coming on, because like we've tried to breeze through a lot in a short period of time. I feel like it flowed really well.
It's been fantastic.
And you guys are amazing. Everyone check out the Teacher's Surgery on YouTube, Instagram, etc., etc.
And we've got can I just say, we've got an open event in Tottenham Hale, the Engine Room, on January the 18th at from 1 p.m. till 5 p.m. We're going to be linked with Street Fathers. We're going to be linked with all the groups, so that parents, children, whoever, come down and see what we're all about.
Okay, cool. And so, don't know if you guys want to add your personal accounts, but we'll discuss it after. I'll add it in the description if you want to. But honestly, it's been a pleasure. You guys are inspirational. It's nice to see that you've all developed and you're all growing together. And you're going to go on to do many big things. So if you like this video, please comment below. Let us know how you thought. And if you guys actually want to come on and talk about your own journeys, please email me as well. All right. Thank you. It's a
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Yeah?
Woo.